is this harvest pressure that we're seeing over here? Is it this WASD number that we saw? Is it a combination of both? Or is this seasonal where this wheat market usually pulls back? Because we had quite a little bit of a run-up going into this.
Well, I think it's a combination of all of those things that you had touched on. Obviously, today's data points didn't really do anything to help the bull case here in the very near term. Speaking of exports in the WASD report, not a whole lot of good news behind that. On top of that, we're looking at some harvest pressure as well, as you had mentioned. Then the kicker is you got the U.S. dollar, mounting a little bit of a rally here, which doesn't really help wheat much at all. And the technical landscape has been relatively weak, really over the last 2 to 3 months. We've been marking lower highs and lower lows, and so we always say the trend is your friend till the end when it bends, and that has been the trend. We are coming into some support in the low 490s. That was the low from the middle of May and also the lows from the middle of March. That is a must-hold area. If we can't get any sort of support down there or any good news to get us a rebound, there really isn't a whole lot until we go back and potentially retest those lows from last September closer to 468. So the bears are in full control here in the very near term, which is a little bit worrisome, and I'm hoping that we can hold here, because if we do roll over in wheat, that could potentially spill over into pressure in corn here in the coming weeks.
Well, and that was my next question, was how strong do you think that this support is over here in the wheat market? Because there's some that are talking, well, in fact, the crop ratings showed that about a quarter, about 25% of the Kansas wheat crop was in very poor condition.
Yeah, the technicals are going to be really important here. That 490, basically all the way up here to $5, which is obviously psychologically significant. This is the must-hold area. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If we break and close below here, the selling will likely accelerate from the funds and trend followers jumping on board, and we could potentially go retest those lows near 470. If we're looking to, paint a pretty picture somewhere, I think the pretty picture is over in the bean market. We've actually had pretty good export data here over the past several weeks, despite China saying that they were going to stop U.S. agricultural purchases. It's almost been like they've been coming out every other day saying they're buying more beans. So very constructive fundamentals in the beans, and I think the chart would echo that as well. So not very friendly here on the wheat near term, but I think if you're looking for a bright spot, soybeans is the place to look.